In Washington today, a tense exchange unfolded on Capitol Hill as lawmakers pressed FBI Director Kash Patel on transparency, federal spending oversight, and the integrity of background checks for top government nominees. If you're new to the channel and want in-depth breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a full analysis.
Director Patel, since 2022, the executive branch has been legally required to operate and maintain a publicly available system to which apportionments are posted. As you know, apportionments are legally required by the Anti-Deficiency Act. They are formal federal budgetary accounting documents that are legally binding on federal agency, and OMB uses them to tell agencies how and when they can spend legally appropriated funds. Beginning in March, this OMB stopped making these documents publicly accessible. You stated in your confirmation hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee that you want to work to get public trust in the FBI back. It would seem to me that transparency and public reporting about where and how the Bureau is spending money would help in earning back public trust. As the leader of our nation's principal federal law enforcement agency, will you commit to making the FBI's account-specific apportionments publicly available?
Absolutely, so long as I have the appropriate request.
The law requires that all the information be posted publicly. Are you committing to do that?
If that's what the law requires, yes. I'm not the appropriations expert, but if that's what the law requires, that's what we'll do.
Do you have a timeline of when that would be possible, and why, since March, has it been taken down?
No, ma'am, but I will get you one.
Okay, so thank you for committing to publicly post what is required by law, the apportionment for the FBI. I wanted to ask about one of the U.S. Attorney nominee Ed Martin. As you know, the FBI conducts background checks on nominees for senior positions in the federal government. Ed Martin has been nominated by the president to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, one of the top prosecutor positions in the country, and he currently holds that position in an interim role. If it has come to light that Mr. Martin has praised a Nazi sympathizer named Timothy Hale Cuccinelli, who was also pardoned by President Trump after being convicted as a January 6th rioter. Mr. Martin called Hale Cuccinelli, quote, an extraordinary man, an extraordinary leader. He's also falsely claimed that he did not previously know that he was a Nazi sympathizer. Do you think that this is the kind of thing that the FBI should be careful to investigate as part of its background checks on nominees such as Mr. Martin?
Thank you, ma'am. I'm not familiar with Mr. Martin's specific BI investigation, but I can tell you how the BIs are done for everybody at the FBI. We have careers running the entire inspection division and HRD component. That has not changed since I've been in the seat, and every BI has been held to the same standard by them, and either they pass along the information from their investigations that they cultivate, or they don't. We do not tell them what to pass on and what not to investigate.
Do you know if this information and past association was part of the record?
I'm not familiar with his personal background.
Do you think that these types of controversial comments and interviews, association with Nazi sympathizers and anti-Semitic comments would be appropriate for inclusion in a given FBI background check?
Ma'am, since his nomination is pending, it's not for me to comment on it. I don't have the BI in front of me.
But in general, do you think that comments and associations like these should be part of an FBI background investigation report?
That's up to the field agents, ma'am. I can't rewrite that for them. They have a way of doing these investigations that I have not inhibited or changed or altered since I got in the seat.
Will you look into it and make sure that should be included, controversial and very troublesome anti-Semitic comments and associations like that should be part of a background check?
I will.
Thank you. Lastly, as you know, earlier this year, the Justice Department demanded a list of all current and former FBI employees who at any time worked on January 6th investigations. According to the email from the then acting FBI director, the Justice Department will review those employees to, quote, determine whether any additional personnel actions are necessary. Director Patel, do you anticipate firing any additional FBI employees simply because they worked on January 6th related investigations?
Thank you for the question. That email or memo was sent out prior to my arrival at the FBI. We have not addressed that specific email since I've arrived because the matter's in litigation in federal court.
Do you anticipate firing any additional employees that may have worked in relation to the January 6th investigations?
The only way you get fired from the FBI while I'm the director is if you violate the ethical guidelines or break the law.
Okay. Thank you. I yield back.
The hearing opened with a pointed reminder that since 2022, the executive branch has been legally required to maintain a public system where apportionments must be posted. These apportionments are not just paperwork, they are formal, legally binding budget documents that dictate exactly how federal agencies can spend the money Congress appropriates. Under the Anti-Deficiency Act, violations can trigger serious consequences because the law is meant to prevent overspending and hidden expenditures. Yet since March, the Office of Management and Budget stopped making these documents publicly available, creating a transparency vacuum. Viewers, if you appreciate this level of context, don't forget to subscribe for more impactful reporting. Lawmakers pressed Director Patel on whether the FBI would commit to posting its own apportionments publicly. Patel responded cautiously, promising compliance if the law requires it, though he repeatedly emphasized he is not an appropriations expert. Still, he committed to seeking a timeline and said he would follow legal mandates. What makes this important is that public trust in the FBI has been a recurring issue in congressional oversight. Transparency in how taxpayer dollars are allocated and spent is one of the simplest, most measurable ways to begin restoring that trust. These hearings are not just political theater, they are accountability sessions that influence how agencies operate behind closed doors. If you want more clear explanations like this, make sure you hit subscribe. The questioning then shifted to a far more explosive topic, the FBI's background check process for high-level nominees. Specifically, senators highlighted the case of Ed Martin, nominated to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. This is one of the most powerful prosecutorial positions in the country, overseeing cases that often carry national implications. The controversy centers on Martin's praise of Timothy Hale Cuccinelli, a man with documented Nazi sympathies who was convicted for his actions on January 6th and later pardoned by former President Trump. Martin reportedly called Hale Cuccinelli an extraordinary man and an extraordinary leader, and later claimed he did not know about Cuccinelli's extremist views. For viewers following federal appointments, this matters because background checks are supposed to surface exactly this kind of history. It is about whether an individual entrusted with enormous legal authority has shown sound judgment and respect for democratic norms. If you're learning something new from this analysis, subscribe to support more in-depth journalism like this. When asked whether such associations and statements should be included in an FBI background report, Director Patel stayed within the boundaries of protocol. He explained that professional career officials in the FBI handle all background investigations independently and that leadership does not dictate what they report. Patel declined to comment on Martin specifically since his nomination is still pending, a standard approach for agency heads to avoid influencing political processes. But the exchange raised broader questions about how thoroughly controversial ties, extremist sympathies, or statements should be evaluated for positions that shape federal prosecutions. For many Americans, it touches on a deeper debate about standards of character for public service. And if you want continued coverage that breaks down complex political issues in a way that's crystal clear, don't forget to subscribe. This hearing is part of a larger, ongoing push in Congress to scrutinize how federal agencies operate, how nominees are vetted, and how public trust can be rebuilt. And it is a reminder that transparency is not a buzzword, it is a requirement for a functioning democracy. Decisions like removing public access to apportionment documents may sound technical, but they directly affect accountability. Background check controversies may seem like personnel disputes, but they determine who wields power over the nation's justice system, and that is why these hearings matter. If you want more comprehensive breakdowns like this one, subscribe now and stay informed as these developments unfold.